can't wait to watch this show. Good friend of mine named Dr. Demento is celebrating 2 decades of... You take it away and finish that.
Dementia, mad music and crazy comedy from out of the archives and off the wall, rare records and outrageous tapes from yesterday, today, and tomorrow.
How do you stay so young? How do you stay so slim and young?
Well, it's something about the mad music, the happy music that I play on the radio every week. That has something to do with it, I think.
I heard you when you were breaking in, and I think you used to tell people, Dr. Demento, at that time to go into their basement and make a crude and any kind of a novelty. Are there still secret basements where people make novelty records
all the time
and mail them into you? Really?
That's how Weird Al Yankovic started, with a tape that he mailed to me back in 1976, and he's going strong now on video and all other kinds of media. And every week I get dozens of tapes, everybody trying to be the next Weird Al.
You broadcast...
Nobody's quite made it yet, but I've gotten a lot of great ones.
He's one of a kind.
Yes.
He is one of a kind. And you broadcast from California?
Yeah, from the Westwood One studios in Culver City, California, right in movie land.
Oh, the excitement is mounting and generating and snowballing and escalating, and everybody is salivating and drooling and chomping to hear Dr. Demento. Well, before we talk about... do that one more time. Beats manual labor, right?
Yes. I love this one. You play a little tune on this one too.
I love it. In the collection is Spike Jones. Maybe today we're going to bring back a little bit of Spike Jones on videotape.
Sure, yeah. Yeah, we got a video collection out too to celebrate the 20th anniversary, and it's got Spike Jones on it. Lots of other great stuff, new stuff, old stuff, in between stuff.
I can't wait. I'm going to enjoy this show more than anything I've done in the last 15 minutes. And I'm only kidding. Listen, Doctor, do me a favor. As only you can do it, would you introduce a couple of people, including, I want to talk about this, about the Comedy Central special, but the man who's done more for tulips than the whole country of Holland. Would you introduce Tiny?
Oh, yes, indeed. The man who knows just about every song in the known world, Tiny Tim.
Tiny, we see your commercials for the, which cola? Which one?
For Diet Pepsi.
Diet Pepsi, and I'm proud of you.
And also Skittles candy. And it's so nice being on your show again, Mr. Franklin. And also, I just want to say, while I may just, on October 26th, I'll be at the Grand Theater in Springfield, Mass. And on October 27th, at the Blue Star in Saugus, Mass, with the fabulous singer, Miss Robin Lynn.
Tiny Tim is happy. He is basking in residuals. You can't knock that, right, Dr. Demento?
Not at all. He gets around.
He's a fantastic... Would you say he's the most identified, most recognized performer probably in America today so far as...
I would say when he came to my house, he sure created a sensation there, and he didn't even sing. I mean,
what's his house? What's his house like, Tim? What's Dr. Demento's house?
It's a very interesting house, and he's so adept with these great old records. I mean, everything is so meticulously put together, formed, cataloged. I mean, he knows everything that's going on. When I get these records, I listen to the songs, throw them away, discard them. I don't know what's happening.
And give them to me next time.
You know who I think about many times, Doctor, who's in your Rhino collections, always a fellow named Alan Sherman.
Oh, yes. Yeah, we have him on the video, too, a very rare piece of video that's on there.
Master satirist.
I just love his stuff. He really brought the art of parody back.
Hello, Mother. Hello, Father. What's new in Camp Granada? How's your cousin Seymour? Seymour joined the Peace Corps. How's your cousin Stanley? Stanley's not so manly, right?
Uh-huh.
He was great. He was great. How about introducing the charming gentleman over there who every Halloween is the ritual. Do it.
Yeah, Halloween, I think, is my favorite show to do of the whole year. I devote a whole show to Halloween, and always, without fail, #1 on our countdown on the Halloween show is the Monster Mash. And this is the man who made the Monster Mash, and also a lot of other very interesting things. Mr. Bobby, call him Boris if you like, Pickett.
Bobby, love to know how you spend your time and where and what happens when somebody has a multi-million seller, how it changes one's life. A little bit on the whole case history of a man who has sold multi-million records named Bobby Pickett.
I'd started out as an actor. That's why I went out to Los Angeles to do that, and got kind of sidetracked by one spring afternoon writing this novelty recording. I'd always done a Boris Karloff impression, and the leader of the group, Lenny Capizzi, said, "Gene, we ought to do a record with that voice. I mean, it goes over well." Whenever I would do the voice, the audience would crack up. So we did it one Saturday afternoon in spring, and I thought a few Boris Karloff fans will get a kick out of this. I had no idea it would sell records.
So the James Cagney parts you wanted to play, or the Kirk Douglas parts?
I don't know. I guess I saw myself as a young Richard Chamberlain or something.
Well, that wasn't necessarily sidetracked because you had a big comedy record, was it?
Well, not really. No. Not really. It all, you know, as you know, Joe, it all ties together, all the showbiz stuff.
Where do you make your home nowadays, Bobby?
Boston.
Boston.
Yeah, I was working in a musical review up there called Don't Touch That Dial, which has played the last 2 seasons and will probably be reopening in the spring.
Mm-hmm. And you are now traveling the highways and byways with the anniversary man, Dr. Demento.
Yes, and before that with Mr. Tiny Tim himself in the 30 Years of Rock and Roll tour this summer. We were out all over the country this summer.
Let's pull any name out of the air and get a flash reaction from Tiny Tim. How about I start with, how do you feel about the memory of Rudy Valley?
Oh, great.
Any Rudy Valley souvenir? Any?
There's no time like our time, and no one like you.
Dr.
Yeah.
Demento, do me a favor. Ask him about a man named Nick Lucas. I want you to watch the look on his face when you say Nick Lucas.
Nick Lucas.
Tiptoe through the tulips with me.
Oh, fantastic.
Originally did that. And I might say, if I may interrupt, you know, not to embarrass Mr. Pickett, but on this tour,
Right.
he went over so great, his picture was on the front page of the Minot, North Dakota newspaper.
Right next to the governor who was
Wow,
undergoing surgery.
Unbelievable.
And I was in a lab coat like this, and in a little picture the governor says, "Governor undergoes surgery." You're going to look like
You got the medical profession's highest rating, 4 scars.
Yes, Joe, at least 4 scars.
You got to do me a favor, Bobby? Set the scene. And I want the whole world to know you're pretty lucky because now you can get these things by these incredibly gifted novelty artists, right, Doctor, on video and on CD and everything, right?
Yes, right.
Did you organize the compilations?
Oh, yes, I did. Yeah, the video has 12 of our favorite all-time videos. I've got to be honest, neither of these 2 gentlemen are on this one, but when we get to volume 2, for sure.
Well, Bobby's in here.
Bobby's in there, yes, on the CD and cassette, the Monster Mash, of course, our #1 all-time Halloween song. And you know, we're having a TV special coming up, and it's going to actually air on Halloween, October 30th and 31st on the Comedy Central channel, and both of these gentlemen are going to be on that. And so that's going to be a whole lot of fun, celebrating my 20th anniversary, of course.
How many more years are you going to do like this, you
As
figure?
long as they want me.
At least 40 more years.
Yeah, I've had good luck in keeping it fresh so far, and as long as I can do that, I figure there'll always be room for funny records and happy music, and that's what
You're
I
so
do.
normal. You're so non-demented. You know, it's...
Well, I play straight man to the records I play, but you know, now and then, there comes Amtrak.
Listen, in about one moment, we're going to ask Bobby Boris Pickett to introduce his record as Boris Karloff might do it, but everybody's waving at me for anything by Tiny Tim. How can we not try and please the people?
Well, I want to say hello to my manager, Mr. Connolly, and his family, but this great song here was sung in 1928 by the late, great Franklin Bauer on Victor Records. Forgive the voice, because this is the first time ever on any show for this great song in years since he did it. Like the flowers that come in May, you brought happiness my way, making it a heaven here below. Like the sunshine up above, you have filled my heart with love. But there's one thing, dear, I'd like to know. Is love like a rose that blossoms and grows, then withers and goes, dear, when summer is gone? The songbirds in spring that joyously sing, then take to the wing, dear, when summer is gone. I can't believe that we've just been dreaming, that all of our scheming must end with the dawn. So tell me again, love is not in vain, that it will remain, dear, when summer is gone.
Yes, yes, yes.
Mr. Pickett, you are the guest deputy music critic. What do you want to say about that man's rendition.
God bless Tiny Jim Joe. God bless him.
Doctor, your reaction?
I never thought I'd hear music like that without record scratching it until I heard Tiny Tim. I mean,
Can I tell you?
I don't even need my record player anymore.
I was in
Tiny
a
Tim.
record store about a month ago, and guess what I saw on a shelf? And it was really selling. They told me they had about 100. They had about 12 left out of the 100. A CD called Tiny Tim Sings Every Song Ever Written. Right?
That was the name of it?
No, I didn't even hear
What was
that.
the? Well, it's got you sing at least a couple hundred songs.
Oh, I know what that was.
Yeah.
That was, I don't know how you saw that because, Mr. Franklin, it's not even released in this country.
Well,
that's a 3-cassette album.
Somebody pirated it. Somebody did some
It
bootlegging.
must have been. It was done in England
Right.
in 1988, a 3-hour nonstop medley.
That's the one.
With about, who knows, about at least 139 songs on it. Complete songs.
Listen, I got a charming lady who originated house music. Wants to meet you. Wants to maybe be part of Dr. Demento's tour. And we're setting up some trivia, and we're setting up some Monster Mash. Following these words, our salute today to the 20th anniversary of Dr. Demento, who is not very demented. Be right back. Stay here. Boom, reintroduction time. Dr. Demento celebrating 20 years of his crazy novelty records. Tiny Tim, the one and only. Tiny, one more flash reaction, one more. How about Henry Burr or Irving Kaufman?
Oh, just a sniff of this great song of Henry Burr's. Tired hands that guided me in childhood days, tired heart that loved and understood all ways, tired steps that I can't number, tired eyes that knew no slumber, tired lips too tired for her rosary, but not too tired to pray for me. God gave her to you, need I tell you who rocked your cradle with those tired hands?
Right. Want to tell the boys and girls that Irving Kaufman and Henry Burr were two gigantic recording artists long before microphones. They sang it to the old acoustical horn. Opposite Mr. Tim. So how many modern day monsters, Bobby Pickett, know how to mash? How many 1991 monsters know how to mash?
Well, we found a lot of them out there in the Midwest and the northern states this summer, Joe. A lot of young kids and older folks.
You know what's amazing about your records, especially Monster Mash, how it reappears every year or two in the top 10, right?
3 times it's been in the top 100 in Billboard.
Right, not just on Halloween.
Not just Halloween, although it has become kind of like the national anthem of Halloween now.
Listen, I mentioned...
I guess that makes me the Guy Lombardo of Halloween.
You're going to introduce it in a second. Doctor, in case anybody just tuned in late, a little bit of what's happening in your young life on this 20th anniversary occasion.
Well, it's 20 years of mad music and crazy comedy, and I've got a CD out with 36 of the most requested songs of all time on the Dr. Demento Show, a video compilation with Spike Jones and Alan Sherman and lots of wonderful stuff that you'll never see all this together on any other video, I'll guarantee you.
Never again.
Also, it's got the video version of Fish Heads, the most requested song of all time on the Dr. Demento Show. And then on the 30th and the 31st of October, appropriately enough Halloween, Bobby and Tiny Tim are going to be featured with me on my 20th anniversary TV special on the Comedy Central cable channel.
Richard Ornstein wants to play trivia, and our topic is stumping the panel. And Tiny Tim, most of all, says he wants to join in.
Okay, Tiny. In 1957, the Rays had the recording called Silhouettes. But who was the group that had the big song Get a Job?
That's a tough one.
The Silhouettes.
That's a
Are we all supposed to play this?
Of course, it's for
okay.
everyone.
He knew.
Oh,
He knew the
You knew that, Doctor. I'll bet
Yes,
you did.
yes.
Now, Doctor, here's one for you. Buchanan and Goodman had a giant novelty hit record in the 1950s called?
Flying Saucer.
There you go, Doc. You know your
And
stuff.
parts 2 and 3 and a whole bunch more.
You got it. Former President Richard Nixon's speechwriter, Paul Keyes, was the head writer for what TV show? That's a tough one. Tiny?
I take a shot. It wasn't laughing.
It was laughing. What a good one.
Yes.
That's terrific.
That's great. And before that, I think Jack Parr. I think before that. Right.
Identify the 1943 film advertisement that asks, what are the 2 great reasons for Jane Russell's rise to stardom? And the censor said of that same film, Jane Russell's breasts hung over the film like a thunderstorm spread out over a landscape.
Mr. Pickett.
Name that movie?
The Outlaw.
Now,
Bobby got it.
speaking that.
Now, who played Billy the Kid?
Bobby Pickett?
No, I'll tell you in a second. Russell,
No. Tough one. He never made another movie, I
No.
don't think.
Really?
Jack Butel.
Jack Butel, right. Now,
Terrific.
speaking about that, it's a double pleasure to introduce this next lady over there. Her name is Screaming Rachel. She was on a show the other day, and most of all, she says her ambition in life is to meet Dr. Demento.
Yes, Dr. Demento, I love you.
Rachel.
I've been listening to you ever since Chicago. You are one wild guy. Definitely, and Tiny Tim I've already met. I want to tell you, Joe, guess where I met Tiny?
Where?
It's great, in the subway, where he was actually singing at an Outlaw party.
Really?
And he was fabulous.
Rachel is the originator of what they call house music, and maybe in a few minutes you give an idea of how it works to Dr. Demento. Ladies and gentlemen,
love to.
the moment of moments whereby we ask Mr. Pickett to set the scene for a touch of one of the top 100 records of modern times, as maybe as Boris Karloff might do it on a Dr. Demento tour.
The ground was very cold when I got up this morning, Joe. And it's a pleasure to be dug up by Dr. Demento to do this show. And now I'd like to sing a medley of my hit, the song that Elvis Presley called the dumbest thing he ever heard.
Doctor, how do you spend your spare time? What do you do home? Do you play novelty records when you're at home? Or?
Oh, yeah, and all other kinds of records, too. Some of the same songs that Tiny knows, and old blues and old country music, and try to catch up with a new rock and roll, too. Even hear some house music now and
Yes,
then.
Dr.
Shake the stereo.
Demento.
Miss Screaming Rachel asked me if we couldn't go into the intermission with a touch of anything written by Irving Berlin and sung by the one and only Tiny Tim. She's an Irving Berlin fan.
I see that Irving Kaufman, when he did this song,
Irving Kaufman doing an Irving Berlin song.
if you don't like your Uncle Sammy, then go back to your home or the sea, to the land from where you came, whatever be its name, but don't be ungrateful to me. Why, if you don't like the stars in all glory, if you don't like the red, white, and blue, then don't act like the cur in the story. Don't bite the hand that's feeding you.
Yes. Yes, Tiny.
Give Dr. Demento 15 seconds on what is house music.
Oh, it's a very
Oh,
rhythmic.
you know, he knows.
Yes, yeah.
Oh, I didn't know that. Then you tell her.
Oh, well, it's a very rhythmic form of dance music that originated in Chicago,
Yes.
really caught on big in England, and now it's kind of spreading around the world.
Now see that,
And,
Joe? Dr. Demento even knew about
You know what?
house.
I take my battered old top hat off to you. You're fantastic.
Well, the one thing, too, is that we've got a lot of that soul and blues in us. That's there.
It's a lot more than disco music.
A lot of soul.
Right.
A lot of soul.
Lot of soul.
Don't be a heel. We'll return following these final words with a big surprise finale. Stay here.